Hi class, welcome to public speaking. You're going to benefit from this class in ways that you probably haven't even thought about or do not expect. But I'm going to use these videos to help guide you through some of the material. They will not be all inclusive, but there are several concepts I'm going to point out to you in these different videos. I will be looking at the camera and then looking at the text. So I won't always be looking at the camera at all times so that I can refer to these notes in the text. But the first thing we need to talk about is the communication process. That is the speaker, the message, the channel, the listener, feedback, and there can be interference at times, and of course the situation that you find yourself in. So to begin, you have yourself, of course, the speaker who is giving the presentation. Then you have the message. What are you trying to convey to them? You have the channel, which is how they're getting that message. And of course, you have listeners who are listening to you give that speech. You could or could not have feedback depending on the type of speech and how, the speech is laid out. Interference can be anything from some noise that's heard to actually if it's a political speech that not everyone agrees with. You might have people in the audience that, are naysayers, that type of thing. Anything that interferes with the message that you are giving. It can also be internally. There's external and internal interference. So you can have things going on in your mind that are interfering with you presenting the speech, and you can also have the audience have things going on in their minds that are an interference. And then you have the communication situation, again, that you find yourself in. So we also want to talk a little bit about nervousness. You all have some extent of nervousness. Now, it may be very little. Some people say they don't. But even just a little bit of excitement leading up to the speech can be a form of nervousness. Some people have a lot. Now, I will let you know that most students don't have that highest level of nervousness or communication apprehension, but they may feel they do. But that nervousness that you feel is very common, and most people experience it. So what I like to do is I like to talk a little bit about some of the fears that people have, and then talk you through those fears. Some people fear they're just going to blank out. But you have cards, you have note cards that you can look down and look up and regain your place if you do, not if you can't think for a minute. Other people feel that they might trip when they're walking up there. That's a big one of those myths because that usually doesn't happen. But how you handle the situation is always best. So if anything like that, you dropped your cards or anything odd like that happened, you would just make light of it and go on. That's how you handle those types of situations. And then your audience still feels comfortable. There's other things like which I just said a second ago. Practice not saying it as much as you can. But again, if you just say it a couple of times, it's not going to be a huge deal. And all in all, the delivery is not worth as much as the content of your speech. So many people are scared of this class because of that delivery portion, and we are all learning together. So that is something that you're going to find that you do things well, and then you're going to find that you need to do things better for the future, for the next speech, and that's fine. I always like to tell my students that the definition of success in this class is that you mainly got your point across and you were able to share your main points. Not that you were perfect, because that's what sometimes people want to think, is that if they give a perfect speech and say everything exactly like they want to say, then that's the only time that they're successful. That should not be your definition of success for this class. I look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.